Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter when you may be catching this particular broadcast. I am Altavis Pelzer, the voice coach, professional speaker, certified life coach, Amazon best-selling author, podcaster. Oh my goodness, what else? Founder of the World Voice League, and I'm coming to you with the morning press. Good morning, good morning. How are you guys doing this morning? I'm so super excited, guys. Listen, so many things have been happening, but when you learn to raise your expectations. Good morning, Valerie. When you learn to raise your expectations, expect things to move. Expect things to move, expect people to move, expect opportunities to open up, and expect that there will be some opportunities that close. That part. You guys, this is so important for you to understand. Simply because a lot of times when we say yes to an opportunity or we put some expectations out there, we raise some things up and say that that's what we're going to do, we don't necessarily look for changes to happen. We don't necessarily look for like things in our mind, like all heck breaks loose, right? Good morning, Mark. Hey, Tanae. Hey, Kimberly. How are you guys this morning? We don't see and understand that when we raise our expectations, everything has to move accordingly. So this is the thing. Your affirmation for this morning is I'm raising my expectations. I'm raising my expectations. Why? Because when we raise our expectations, everything around us will move. It will either move with us, it'll move away from us, or it completely. So it'll either move with us or it won't. Can you hey Monique, hey sis, hey listen, good morning. You guys are sliding in this morning. It will either move with us or it will move away from us. And so I love the fact that as I started to raise my expectations and raise the things that I was doing within my business, within my family, within my brand, within my own life, is that literally the things that were in my life, the people that were in my life, they either moved with me or they moved away. And that's some of the hardest things to deal with, simply because as we raise our expectations, some of the people that were closest to us are no longer that close. As we raise our expectations, some of the people that we thought would be there forever, that would be riding, the ride or dies, they're not riding and dying. Come on. Good morning. Good morning. Listen, I got to understand that as I raise my expectations, people will either move with me or they're going to move away. And it doesn't always feel good, but it's working out for your good. Come on. It's not always going to feel good, but it's going to work out for your good. So I found that, in raising my expectations, it has placed me in front of people that I did not think that I would be in front of. Hey, Simony. Hey, sis. I was just thinking about you this weekend because I was in Baltimore. Hey, Pamela. Hey, sis. You got to understand, as I go and I move and raise my expectations, that again, it's not always going to look how I thought it would look in my mind. So this past weekend, I had the opportunity to be a presenter, a speaker for the Speak Up book launch. Yes! #1 bestseller. The foreword is done by Dr. George Fraser. The afterword is done by Les Brown. Super excited, but I had the opportunity to speak. This is the thing. When you raise your expectations, there are certain aspects of who you are that will change. Come on. Come on. Look, somebody said, move with me or move away. Come on. Come on. Listen, I had to understand that things would change. One of the things that changed is, and it was so funny because it was said to by the organizer of the event, said, I know she stay ready. Is I stopped being so heck bent on things looking a certain way and being a certain way that I learned to rise to the occasion, right? But that meant that I was flexible. That meant that I was able to share some things and do some things and be able to go into my zone of greatness in order for me to share. Now, when I raised my expectations, that's when that started to happen. I started to connect with different organizations like Black Speakers Network and connecting with my business coach, Danielle, and, different things like that. I started connecting with people, and then I continued to raise my expectations, and it has gone so many different ways. Good morning, Dee. It was great seeing you this weekend. Hey, Kelly. Good morning. You guys, listen, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you. So I literally have seen so much progress from raising my expectations, but I've also seen moments where people that were in the brand, and as we went and elevated things in the brand, they left the brand. I saw that things were happening in the brand, and as we elevated, there were some people that were like, man, I'm here for the long haul. Whatever you got, I'm with it. Whatever you're launching, I'm a part of it. Simply because as you raise your expectations, guess what? People will either move with you or move against you. So we always have to have that understanding. So this past weekend, while speaking, one of the things that I have done is I have raised my expectations a lot within the last few years. It started out with, just rebranding and wanting to do something more with my business. And it turned into me being the face of my brand. It turned into me doing other things and being able to leave my job. It turned into me being able to connect with so many different people. But along the way, I've always found that there are people who are watching your journey. Good morning. Hey, Latia, how are you, sis? There are people watching your journey. Come on. Come on. There are people watching your journey. And so yesterday when I showed up at the event, and this is now happening more and more, as I show up to an event, someone will be at the event and say, I remember you. I remember you. I've watched your story for so long. I've been following you on social media for so long. So they've watched the progress. The reason why they continue to watch is because they see the progress. See, if we're not raising our expectations, then what we're doing is we're running on a hamster wheel. They talked about that this weekend too. We kind of running on that hamster wheel, but you're running on that hamster wheel simply because guess what? I refuse to get off. This is going to be an ouch moment for a few people. And I understand, I get it. But some of us, the reason we have not raised our expectations is because we've become comfortable in being on the hamster wheel. We've become comfortable in being right where we are. We've become comfortable in seeing the same people and talking to the same people about the same things and not growing. Come on. You got to raise your expectations. And when you raise them, this is the thing. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? This is going to hurt a little bit. Is I got to raise my expectations and stop lowering them to accommodate other people. Don't worry, I'll wait. I got a couple angry faces going on. That's all right. I know this hurt. I understand. But I have to raise my expectations and not lower them to accommodate other people. Because what ends up happening is, good morning, Kim. How are you this morning? What ends up happening is we've gotten to a place where we raise our expectations and then we go and we lower them to accommodate someone else. We got to stop lowering our expectations simply to accommodate someone else. Why? Because most times what we'll find is that the person you'll go and lower your expectations to accommodate will not do the same for you. Not only that, you take away from the journey that you're on. You now take away from the experience that you're giving and that you're going to have. Because I've lowered my expectations to fit somebody else's journey. I've lowered my expectations to fit into somebody else's description, somebody else's bubble. I've lowered my expectations to fit somewhere that I was not supposed to be. Good morning, Michael. I lowered my expectations to fit somewhere that I was not supposed to fit. Come on. Somewhere I was not supposed to be. And it ended up hurting me. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that's gone through that this morning, but literally is that I've learned this about myself. And that's what it is. It's learning about yourself That's what they're raising that expectation. You're going to learn some things about yourself. You're going to learn what you like. You're going to learn what you don't like. You're going to learn what you can accept and what you're not going to accept. And not only are you going to learn those things, but now I'm going to let other people know what I will accept, what I will not accept, what I will do and what I will not do, simply because this is my journey. And I have to understand that when I live my journey, I'm not just living it for me. I'm living it for my children. I'm living it for the following generations. I'm opening up opportunities. So if I don't go ahead and raise my expectations, then what's going to happen for them? They're going to think that lower expectation is where they need to be. They're going to be comfortable in just living up to that lower expectation. Now, there's a thing where, sometimes we may get a little ahead of ourselves and that expectation may be a little bit much. But again, it's meant to stretch us. So I need you guys to have that understanding this morning. Say that out loud this morning. Is the higher expectation is meant to stretch me. It is. The higher expectation is meant to stretch me. The higher expectation is meant to take me to a whole nother level. The higher expectation is meant to have me overcome something. Come on. Listen. Valerie said, I'm living my journey with those connected. And let me tell you something that I always find is that a lot of times we forget that the people we say we're connected to in our minds, sometimes those are the people we're actually connected to. There is just a timing. It's meant the timing hasn't been right just yet. But when the timing comes that they're going to meet you in person and say, wow, I didn't even know you were doing that. Or wow, I heard about this program you were doing and I want to be a part of it. Come on. Come on, come on. The higher expectation is meant to stretch me. It's meant to stretch me. It's meant to take me to a whole nother level. Because if I go ahead and allow it to stretch me, man, that means that I'm going to have a larger territory. If I go higher, good morning, Vogel. How are you this morning? If I allow myself to go to that higher expectation, then now I'm stretching my territory. So now the boundaries that I had are no longer the boundaries. I've stretched those. I've made my territory bigger. Come on. Good morning, LaDavia. How are you this morning? I've stretched my territory. I've made myself a bigger area. I'm able to grab a hold of more. I'm able to attain more simply because I'm not confounded. I'm not stuck in this little section. I'm not stuck in this little moment. I'm not stuck in this one little area. I'm not stuck in the pond. I'm in the ocean. Come on. I'm not stuck in the ponds. I'm in the ocean, and I'm in the ocean for a reason. Because that's where I was meant to be. Can you imagine a shark being in a pond? How long would that shark survive? How long would that shark survive? How long would it have enough nourishment to eat? How long would it, at some point, you got to realize that the territory you're in was not the territory that you were meant to be in. And it hurts because, again, sometimes we have to leave behind people. Sometimes we have to reconnect with other people. But what you fail to realize is that, again, the ones that we wanted to connect with, the people that we have been watching and saying, oh, they are amazing, and I'm looking forward to connecting with that person someday, they're watching your journey. I've had many people who have seen me in person, who when they see me in person, they say, I catch you all the time. I just don't say anything on your lives. I'm always watching your videos. Brian said it Saturday at the event. He was like, she the queen of live stream. He said, I always see her doing video. I always see her she's doing live all the time. I always see her doing it. She the queen of live stream. And I just go, okay. But we have to have that understanding. And when we have that understanding, wow, look at where it takes us. Look at where it puts us. It puts us before, again, listen, before kings and queens. That's right. Enlarge my territory. The prayer of Jabez. Enlarge my territory. But it has to mean that I got to raise my expectations. I'm going to tell you why it's so important for us to raise our expectations. It's because if we don't raise our expectations, then we're not going to be able to handle the higher, the enlarged territory. We're not going to be able to handle the more, the increase. Don't believe me? Somebody who's always lived with other people, when they get their own apartment, there's a different mindset you have to have. They have to raise the expectation because it's completely different when things are your responsibility. And even when you're at an apartment, it's not 100% your responsibility. Let me know if you understand what I'm saying. It's not 100% your responsibility. But now I can go and there's more freedom, there's more I can do, but there's also an expectation that I have to raise up to. Because if I don't, then I'm gonna just leave my home any old type of way. It's gonna be a disaster. The same way I left that room where I was living is gonna be the same way that apartment gonna look. I don't know if y'all hear me this morning. I don't know if y'all with me this morning. But then there's another mindset. There's another higher expectation when I go from being an apartment owner to owning a home. Because now I'm responsible for everything. Every time you go and raise up your expectations, there's going to be some things that have to shift, some things that have to change. There's going to be a mindset that has to be broken down, stripped down, and rebuilt. But guess what? It's doable. You can raise your expectations. You can get to a whole nother level. You can support. Listen, people are looking at you and watching your journey. You sure enough can go to a whole nother. Hey, Wilma, you sure enough can go to a whole nother level. Go ahead and raise up those expectations. You want to achieve great things. You want to meet Oprah. Keep raising up your expectations so that way you get to the expectation level of you being able to meet Oprah. You want to meet Michelle Obama? Then keep raising up your expectations. You want to meet Les Brown? Keep raising up your expectations. Once you continue to raise up those expectations, things will come, opportunities will open, and those are the things that you're also speaking out of your mouth. Because can I tell you this? When you have a higher expectations, your words are different. When you have a higher expectation, your words are different. You're going to speak differently when you have a higher expectation. You're going to act differently when you have a higher expectation. You're going to engage with people differently when you have a higher expectation. So the higher you raise it, the more you're going to see, oh man, I wasn't ready at that point to meet Michelle Obama. Oh, but I'm ready now. I wasn't ready at that moment to connect with Will Smith on a project. Oh, but I'm ready now. Those types of things, those are the mindset shifts that happen. But it can't happen until, thank you for sharing, sis. It can't happen until you raise that expectation. So when you get to that point that you're saying, oh my goodness, I can't wait to do something with Lisa Nichols. Well, guess what? Raise your expectation. And when you raise that expectation to get to that point, then things will open up. So you may not only meet, but work with her, be on stage with her. You never know what is going to come down the pipeline, but it comes with you opening up your mouth and saying out of your mouth what those expectations are. Can we talk about it for a minute? Can we have a hashtag real talk moment? Y'all let me know. Can we have a hashtag real talk moment? Because the hashtag real talk is that many of you are scared to speak those things out of your mouth because you're fearful that you won't make it. You're fearful that it's bigger than who you are. You're fearful that it's bigger than what you can do. But see, that's the thing. When we raise our expectation, we understand that I can't get to this next level by myself. Don't worry, I'll wait. We realize that we cannot get to that next level on our own. We cannot get to that next opportunity. We cannot get into that next room by ourselves. It's a conversation we need to have with ourselves. It's an opportunity for us to grow. When I say I can't get into this next level, well, then guess what? That means that I need to be connected to somebody to get me into that next level. I need to know a friend of a friend. That's okay. One of the things that, and this is something that I'm always telling my clients, because I'm always doing the behind the scenes research and things for my business and brands, is that, where it used to be 6 and 7 degrees of separation, because of social media, it's about 3 degrees of separation. So you may be saying you want to connect with somebody, you want to work with somebody, and you're only 3 people away from that person. If that. Good morning, Shannon. Hey, sis. You're only 3 people away from that person, if that. But you have not raised your expectation to say that that's what you really wanted. So you keep playing small, thinking that playing small, somebody will see you and give you a chance. Ooh-wee. You think that by playing small, someone will see you and give you the opportunity or give you a chance simply because you've been playing small. I keep playing small, so somebody gonna get a whiff of who I am. Somebody gonna get a glance of me being in a book or me having my books, or they're gonna see something. And so while I'm sitting there going, well, if I go ahead and play small and I shrink myself down, then at some point somebody will notice me. Come on. Good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning? You got to understand that, guys, raising the expectations means it's time to play big. Go on and look at your neighbor, say, neighbor, it's time to play big. We can't play small anymore. We can't hide in the shadows anymore. I did it. I tried it, y'all. I tried it. Me, the introvert, and I was telling them over the weekend, I said, I'm such an introvert, and people look at me, and when they see me at an event or they see me live, they're like, yeah, no, you're not an introvert. No, I am. But there's things that I have learned to do in order to make sure that I'm putting myself in a position that I can still succeed. I know my limitations. I know what it is. But since I raised that expectation, that meant that, okay, little introvert, you're going to have to find a way to do it. So when it came to networking, that was where the book came in. Plug in. When it came to networking, I had to learn little introvert. You got to find a way to network, because networking, it equals your net worth. Network equals your net worth. And there's a lot behind that. So I couldn't hide out in my home. I wish I could and just be on the couch all day reading books, but that doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. I wish I could, though. Be pretty freaking awesome. I gotta play big. So I had to go and do speaking events and be in front of rooms and crowds of 50 and 150 and 200 people. I had to go ahead and say yes to opportunities, even when it frightened me, even when I didn't know how I was going to raise to that expectation as of yet. I had to say yes to opportunities. I had to go places. Can I tell you one of the biggest things? And as an introvert, man, I had to learn this one the hard way. As an introvert, good morning, Sarah. How are you this morning? As an introvert, I had to learn the hard way. Guess what? Sometimes I got to show up by myself. Sometimes I can't wait for other people to show up with me. I got to get on a plane, train, automobile, Uber, Lyft, whatever it is, Greyhound, Megabus, a flight, whatever it is, I have to show up, even sometimes when it meant showing up by myself. I had to learn to play big. I had to learn to say yes. I had to learn to, that was not something that was initially within my mindset to do. I had to learn to do those things. And when I learned to do it, other opportunities opened up. Paula, good Good morning, sis. I miss you. I had to learn to do those things. I had to run and get in front of people, even though I'm an introvert, and that's not where I get my strength. I get my strength behind the scenes. I get my strength in my quiet time. But when I learned that, okay, I can get my strength in my quiet time, I can get my strength in the behind the scenes and still be successful and still move forward. Guys, I can, but there had to be a level of expectation that I had to rise up to. I couldn't do it playing small. I couldn't do it doing the same things that I had been doing previously when I first started my business in 2014. I could not do it that way. I had to play big. You have to start playing big. Thank you for sharing, Paul. I appreciate you. Come on. And it's the hardest thing. And so I'm gonna challenge y'all. You saying somebody right now is like, she said that she showed up by herself? Like by herself. Yes. Yes. This little introvert has gotten on a train, on buses, taking Lyfts and Ubers to events by myself. Where I did not know, and this is the thing, to events where I did not know if there were going to be other people I would know at the event. I showed up. And when I got there, I literally would have people who would be like, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize you were going to be here. Oh my goodness, we got to take a picture together. Like I literally had people who were just like, I didn't even know you were going to be here. And I was like, I'm here. But it allowed me also to be included in conversations that if I had not have shown up, I would not have been included in. It allowed me to hear information and hear things that were happening that I would not have heard about or I would not have heard about for a longer length of time. I had to learn to show up. And baby, when you show up, just show up as you. Show up authentically you. You don't necessarily have to show up and have like, be dressed to the nines I get it. I get it. Everybody wants to have that presentation. I understand. But you got to show up. Come on. Michael said I need to start a new group for Introverts Anonymous. I had so many people this weekend that were like, your message resonated with me because I'm an introvert. And she was like, because you got up there, and when you got up there to speak, you didn't look like an introvert. They were like, I didn't understand it. She was saying, she said, you didn't look like an introvert. But when you got up there, come on. Come on. You got to go ahead and be like, listen, you got to do it. But yes, you got to show up. And when you start showing up, that's part of you raising that expectation. When you're showing up, that's part of you going and saying, I'm going to do this above all else. I'm going to do it. The thing about it is one of the reasons why most people are so turned off about raising up their expectation is because they feel as though if I raise my expectation and I don't meet that expectation, then I'm a failure. And you don't have to put it in the comments if that's you. I do understand because I was the same way. I played small simply because if I played big and failed, then what would that mean? If I played big and I failed, what would that mean for me? What would that mean for my children? If I played big and I failed, what would that mean for my future? Because I left a full-time job. I'm not going back. I refuse. So if I stop playing, if I play big and I miss it, if I shoot for the stars and miss it, what's going to happen? If I shoot for, what's going to happen? But the reality is that you're still going to make accomplishments along the way. Even if I don't make it to that exact expectation, there are things that I will learn. There will be people I meet. There will be opportunities that open up. There will be things that happen in the midst of me trying to attain that higher expectation. There will be so many things that happen that it will still open up opportunities. But I never know until I go ahead and raise those expectations up. Come on, Rhonda said yes. Until I raise those expectations up. When I raise up those expectations, this is the thing. As listen, I'm going to put up or shut up. Listen, that's what it is. But you learn so much along the way. You gain access to so many different things along the way. Stop thinking that if I fail, then that's the end of it. Failure is not the end. Failure is not the end. It's an opportunity. Keep that in mind. Failure is not the end. It's an opportunity. So if I set my expectations higher and I don't necessarily reach them, then there's an opportunity for me to either change the expectation. There's an opportunity for me to go ahead and add something to it. There's an opportunity for me to realize something about myself. There's an opportunity for me to realize maybe the reason why I didn't reach that higher expectation is because there's something around my ankle that has become a shackle. There is a person, a place, or a thing that has become a shackle around my ankle and it's not allowing me to move. Don't worry, I'll wait. That was an ouch for somebody. Hey, Lorville, good morning. Thank you for sharing, Lorville. I appreciate you. There is something holding me back. So now, if I did not reach that higher expectation, I got to look down at my feet and say, what's holding me back? What's around my ankles holding me in place? What's holding me from moving forward? What's that thing? Come on. Come on, what's that thing? Who's that person? What's the community look like? What's the people? Who are the people I'm talking to? What kind of conversations am I having? What is that thing that's holding me back? And when I looked down and realized that there was something holding me back, I had to go back and say, "Ooh, baby, I got to let that go. I got to let that go. I can't reach the higher expectation because it's something holding me back. I'm dragging an anchor, something that was meant to keep me in place. I'm dragging an anchor, but I wasn't even supposed to have the anchor. So think of it like a car having an anchor. A car has brakes for a reason. They don't need an anchor. Some of you are like the car that's driving around with an anchor attached to you. Why are you driving around with an anchor? You have brakes. The brakes are there for a purpose. So you utilize the brakes when you need to stop. You utilize the brakes when you need to stop. You utilize the parking gears and everything else in there. Why do you attach something else that is not necessary? The anchor isn't necessary. The anchor is not necessary. When we get to that moment that we say, I realize this is not necessary for me to grow. This is not necessary for me to go to that next level. This is not necessary for me to achieve the greatness that I am looking to achieve. Then I have to let it go. One of the hardest conversations that you will have is with someone that you have to say, I can't spend as much time with you as I was spending before. One of the hardest conversations you will have is when you have to look at your children and say, listen, we're going to have to be on a budget for a while until we can get a little bit better with making more money. That one of the hardest, because you feel as though you failed, but it's not necessarily that you failed. It's you learned something about yourself. You learn something about yourself. If you are in a boat and you start going out into the water and you start seeing that there's water taking on in the boat, it's not that you failed as somebody who was sailing a boat. It's you found something out about the boat. The boat had a hole. It wasn't sturdy. It wasn't. Ooh, it wasn't meant for you to go on that journey with that boat. So that particular boat was not the boat that you needed for this particular journey. And so you went out into the water and found out it had a hole in it. Okay, now that you know it has a hole in it, you got a couple options. You either fix the hole. Somebody gonna catch this on their way home. They're gonna get it. On their way home from work, somebody gonna be like, well, hot darn. There's a hole in my there's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. So I'm like, oh, I just showed my age. I just showed my age. Somebody gonna be like, there's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza. Because the reality is there's a hole in your boat. And you sitting out in the water talking about, I failed, I can't be a sea captain. I can't sail the boat because I failed as a, no, you didn't fail. There's a hole in the boat. Check the boat. Somebody look at your neighbor and say, check the boat this morning. Hey, Alyssa, good morning, sis. Somebody look at your neighbor and say, check the boat this morning. Good morning, Brian. How are you? Check the boat this morning. Some of you literally, you looking and you got out into that water and it started taking on water and you just needed to say, there was a hole in my boat. So that wasn't the boat for this journey. Open up your eyes. That was not the boat for this journey. It didn't say that the journey was not a journey you could go on. Because some of you, because it started taking on water, you'll say, oh, well, I was never supposed to be on that journey. And that's why, but that's not it. Sometimes it was just letting you know that wasn't the right vehicle. That wasn't the right boat. Sometimes it's telling you that that wasn't the right program for you. Sometimes it's telling you that that opportunity wasn't the opportunity that you needed. And that's why I did not go that far. That's why there was holes in the boat. Because if you would have went out further, you would have saw that there was more than just holes in the boat. I can't with y'all this morning. I can't do it with y'all this morning. Y'all not gonna have me on here all morning this morning. Sometimes you gotta understand that there was this, listen, the holes in the boat was there for a reason. Because if you would have gotten even further out and found that there was holes in the boat, man, not only would there have been holes in the boat, you probably had some issues with the engine, the rudder. I don't even know pieces of the boat. Don't judge my lifestyle. I don't know how we got to boating. Don't judge my lifestyle, y'all. Hey, Maria. Hey, hey, Patrice. How are you guys doing this morning? But you got to understand that you would have got out a little further and you would have noticed some little things that would have been, listen, there was a rip in the sail. You would have started noticing things. So you saw that one thing, but there was probably other underlining things that you didn't necessarily see. Come on. Come on. Come on. Paula said, go back and try something else. Go back and get your behind a new boat. Go back and have the right, because this is the thing. Ooh, this is going to get you. Okay, this it. I'm not doing nothing after this. I'm not doing nothing else after this. Some of you, the reason why you made it out into the water in the first place with a hole in your boat is because you were not properly trained to check your boat. You need to go and find somebody else that can check your boat for you to make sure that it is seaworthy. Some of you need somebody that you should be going to talk to give them, to get bright ideas, to do a brain dump. Something that I loved about this weekend is Brian talked about how he has his circle of friends that he can go to and call and share ideas and opportunities and things like that at any time of the night. Now, I'll be asleep. But they said at any time of the night, they might come up with an idea and get on the phone and start talking about some things. Guess what, guys? That's what you need. And because you didn't have that, you said, oh, I'm going to do it all by myself. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do it by myself. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to check this boat because I'm the captain of the boat, so I should be able to check the boat. When all actuality, you should be able to, but that's not always the case. So you said, I'm going to check this boat by myself. And you checked the boat and still made it out in the water with a hole in it. That part. I told y'all somebody gonna catch this and get it on their way home. You're gonna get home from, you're gonna be on your way home from work like this. Holes in my bucket, it's holes in my boat, it's the wrong folk in my boat. What's going on? Man, these expectations is real. Wait a minute. What's going on with my boat? What's going on? But it wasn't until I had that epiphany, that moment, that I said, man, I really can go much further than where I am right now if I just go ahead and raise my expectations. I can go so much further. And y'all about to see it. You're about to see something. I got an email today, and I'm not going to tell you all about it yet, but I got an email today that I was just like, Should I add this to my marketing calendar? Let me go ahead and add this to my marketing calendar. So I'm going to talk to my team about it later on today. But she, me, her. Yes. But it wasn't until I went ahead and raised those expectations that I said, okay, let me go ahead and step up to these expectations. Let me go ahead and do these things that I was telling myself that I wasn't good enough to do for a while. But in all actuality, come on. Come on. Kelly said it. The captain needs a co-captain. I need support. That's it. Come on. I need support. It's necessary. But man, it'll take you far. It'll take you so far. I'm so happy. I'm so excited about the places that we are going. I'm so excited about the things that we're doing. Why? Because man, it's just a few years ago I was working a full-time job. Just a few years ago I was behind the scenes and everything. I was the pusher for everybody else and wasn't doing anything in my brain. Just a few years ago, I was not where I am now. And even greater things. Even greater things are coming. Even greater opportunities. Man, don't be held where you are simply because of fear, simply because you're scared to take them shackles off. Remove the shackles. Come on, take the shackles off my feet so I can dance. Take those shackles off and go about your life because something greater is waiting for you. Something greater is waiting. Something greater is waiting. But you gotta get all the way out that comfort zone, guys. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for all the reactions and shares. Man, it's been an amazing morning. And this is just Monday morning. This is just Monday. So we have even more coming because we got a whole week. That part. I will be back on later today. And if you haven't done so already, I will be posting the intro for the segment that I did this weekend. Man, I posted it on my IGTV over on IG, but on the World Voice League Instagram page, and I think it's like over 300 views already. Just the snippet, just the beginning piece of it, and it has started getting some feedback there. So super excited about that as well, guys. Have an amazing Monday. Remember, what's your affirmation for today? I am raising my expectations. I am raising my expectations. There's something greater waiting for you, but you got to keep saying it out your mouth. You got to go ahead and put that into the atmosphere sometimes. I'm raising my expectations because I know greater is coming. And guys, I'm telling you, I'm going to be sitting here on the sidelines clapping like, I remember them when. I remember when. I love you. You guys have an amazing Monday. And until next time, guys, don't forget to press it out. See ya.